Om Shanno Mitra Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami, tanmamavatu, tadvaktaramavatu, avatu mam, avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu
Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinam Samastu Vishavai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we have seen the cause of fear is what? Brahman. For whom? The ones who don't know. Okay? Avidusha. And the cause of no fear is also what? Brahman. And the beauty of it is, either way, the existence of Brahman is established. So you can't fear nothing, if Brahman is not there, then Brahman cannot be made to become the cause of fear. So, Brahman is the cause of fear means what? That it is there. That's why I'm afraid of it. It's much like the monster under the child's bed. You sit this side because this computer comes in the way. Come on, yeah. Come somewhere here. Yeah. Next, after this, Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. So, one class Bhagavad Gita, one class Taittiriya. So, we'll have Taittiriya first. And so, if Brahman is there, then only I can be afraid of it. So, the Astitvam means what? The existence of Brahman is established in either case. It's a very clever Adi Shankara, piece here. The Brahman is established in either case. So, if you are afraid of it, you can't be afraid of nothing. Even the baby, the child that is afraid of the monster under the bed, in the child's mind, the monster exists. So, similarly here, in the Jiva's mind, Brahman as a cause of fear exists. Brahman exists, and upon that is transposed that this is a scary, fearful thing. Now for the Vidwan, what is the Vidwan? The person of knowledge. The Jnani is not afraid. Why? Because Brahman is not the cause of fear at all. So this is what we have seen thus far, and this is going to be explained in a more interesting, at least to me, and and a very precise way. Let us look at that, the Bhashya here. So this much we have seen, that bhayam bhavati, whether even if one thinks, then we also closed at this particular thought, is that even the one who is well read in the Shastra separates themselves from Brahman, because this go up till God, and then something happens when you talk about God. This is why all these theologies somehow get to the understanding that there is a God, and after that what? There is separation. Myself and Ishvara, there is separation, and that of course is the ultimate separation. So this so-called person of knowledge, self-styled person of knowledge, has now established the separation into a doctrine which other people follow. Called what? Dvaita, duality. Vishishta Dvaita, qualified duality. You are an adjective to Bhagavan. At least before you knew Bhagavan, you were a noun, okay? You mattered. Now what have you become? An adjective. So like this, there is all these things, because there is some way in which they are not able to make that final jump because of some notions in the head. Because the Upanishad is very, very clear that there is no separation. The separation is only at the level of upadhi, body, mind, sense complex. Ultimately, there is no separation at all. And so if there is no separation at all and you are seeing a separation, then it requires what? A vision adjustment, an attitudinal adjustment, a cognitive adjustment. So if I have to understand the vision of no division, I have to be in that place of a dispassionate person, dispassionate student. Because if my own notions are there about which I am passionate about, and the teaching is also coming, then the teaching gets mixed up in through the lenses of what I passionately feel about many things, and then the teaching gets distorted. And so that is why here the dispassion, vairagya, is seen as a very, very critical hallmark for for cultivating studenthood, studentship, discipleship. And so here these are the people who have muddied the society, Adi Shankara says, by their own ajnanam, pretending to be jnanam. Further, yaha ayam ekam abhin, it's the fourth line from the bottom on page 285. Yaha ayam ekam abhinna abhinnam atmatvam na pashyati, does not see Brahman as oneself, and that God is also Brahman, I am also Brahman, that is not understood. Why? And this is the very cool explanation. Uchcheda hetu darshanadhi uchchedya abhimatasya bhayam bhavati. So uchcheda means fear, suffering, some kind of suffering, affliction. So uchcheda hetu darshanat, because of seeing that there is a cause for all the suffering, I can attribute all my suffering to a cause. What is that cause? The significant other. No, that is that may be the local cause, but then there is another cause. What is that cause? Bhagavan. Because of Bhagavan, I am like this. Because you analyze a little more, then you may first say significant other, then you say, okay, then what made me have this person in my life as the significant other, and then what answer will come? Bhagavan. Somewhere you end up always in Bhagavan. Ultimately is the final say. The buck stops at Bhagavan. So that's the final say. So then Bhagavan becomes Uchcheda Hetu, the ultimate cause of all people's, the entire Jagat's affliction. Poor Bhagavan. What a terrible reputation here. Poor Bhagavan, always misunderstood. Here also terribly, terribly misunderstood. And then here also Bhagavan becomes what? the cause of the suffering of the Jagat. And we pray like that also. Oh Rudra, you have your arrow pointed at me. Look, this person has been bad, not me. Go here, point there. We pray like that. And we pray, please spare me. What about other 8 billion people in the world? Doesn't matter what happens to them, but please spare me from this. So what is Uchcheda Hetu? Hetu means cause. What is the cause of Uchcheda? Affliction, suffering, separation. That is Bhagavan. In what form? Bhagavan as the giver of the fruits of karma. Whose karma? Huh? Your own karma. It's not somebody else's karma you're getting. Your own karma. But then you don't decide your karma. It is gift wrapped and sent back. And Bhagavan says, as Bhagavan is gift wrapping, Bhagavan says, put your finger there. We'll just make a bow. That's all. That's your contribution. You don't know what's in the box. Maybe it comes as a suitcase with a combination lock. Combination is known only to Bhagavan in the form of Chitragupta, the giver of the results of action. And then, so therefore, this Bhagavan is the cause of fear. Bhagavan becomes Uchcheda Hetu, and the Jiva, the individual, becomes what? Uchchedya. Uchcheda Yogya means the one who is afflicted. Bhagavan becomes the Karta, the doer, the agent of affliction. And what does the jiva becomes? The recipient, the karma, grammatical karma here. So the recipient, the object of the affliction. So now we have two words, Uchcheda and Uchchedya. So Uchchedya jiva, Uchchedaka or Uchcheda hetu Bhagavan. So then, if these two terms are understood, we can go forward. Uchcheda hetu darshanadhi uchchedya abhimatasya bhayam bhavati. So then, after seeing Bhagavan as the giver of all kinds of wrong things, bad things, and it's very interesting here because Bhagavan is not just the giver of bad things, good things are also happening every single day. But I attribute that to who? Me. When anything good happens, who is to take the credit? Me. Nobody says, oh, Bhagavan is giving me wonderful thing. Not only Uchcheda Hetu, but Shubha Hetu also. Auspiciousness is the source of all auspiciousness. No, but nobody says. Even though we say, Bho Shambho. Shambhu means the giver of auspiciousness. So the one whose presence is auspicious. Even though we say that, generally we look at Bhagavan as the affliction giver. And so here Adi Shankara says, this Uchcheda Hetu Darshanat. So instead of seeing myself as Sarvatma, as the Atma of everyone, instead of going to a place of oneness, what am I doing? I am seeing Bhagavan as somebody who is targeting me. So what is there now? Two things. There is this whole idea of some god, a guy in the sky, which is completely contradictory to the Upanishad. And then what else is there? Poor old me. I am the target of every arrows, slings and arrows of all misfortunes. They are all coming at me. This actually sounds comforting, but it is not. It sounds comforting only because we are familiar with the victim tone. We are familiar with the victim narrative, and not only are we familiar, we have difficulty coming out of that. And that's why it is comforting, because as long as I'm a victim, if I mint myself as a victim, then I don't have to do anything about it. Everybody is against me, this one is against me, that one is against me, even Bhagavan has abandoned me, and then all I have to do is cry, that's all. And that I'm used to crying, so it comes naturally. And so then I don't have to take any responsibility. I give up in a way. I don't even see that I have a free will. This free will is also a gift of Bhagavan with which I can pull myself up out of this doldrum of victimhood. I don't see that. So, Uchcheda Hetu Darshanam is the cause of fear, Adi Shankara says. And to make matters worse, then the first one sees Bhagavan as the source, as the cause of all afflictions. And the second thing is Uchchedya Abhimatasya. Abhimatasya means for one who has Abhimana in Uchchedyatvam. What does that mean? Abhimana means identification. The identification with the afflicted person as myself. So first seeing Bhagavan as the cause of all afflictions, and second what? I am the afflicted one. Iti, in this manner, identification. Now the whole thing is clinched. What is clinched? Duality and fear. Those two things are automatic. It's just automatic. It's like, when you go through some bridges and all, you have to pay toll, and it's very boring to have exact change and everything. So there is something there sticking on the car. What is that called? Fast track, something. Easy track. Yeah, in different places it's called something. Fast track, easy track, whatever. So the fast track to fear, where all the gates of affliction open up, are two things. One is what? Bhagavan is the cause of fear. Second, I am the victim of this fear, of all the suffering and of all the difficulties. Bhagavan is the cause of afflictions. I am the one who is afflicted. So what is the relationship between me and Bhagavan? Afflicted relationship. Then is victimhood any surprise? No, not at all. It is all a setup. But this is the fast track to fear. Okay, yeah, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about toll, even though it takes a toll on you afterwards. That's all you have to think about. So then it says, so this Uchchedya Abhimatasya. Uchchedya, that one is afflicted. Abhimatasya means for the one who has Abhimana, in feeling that one is afflicted. This is Uchcheda Abhimataha Tasya Bhayam Bhavati. For this person, there is great fear. Anxiety is their middle name, all the jivas. And then what is this what is this Uchcheda Hetu? What is this cause of fear? See, if the cause, this is a very important question to ask. Because in the world also, we see this dyad. Uchcheda Hetu and Uchchedya. Uchchedaka, the agent of suffering, and then the one that is victimized by the agent. So like supposing there is a school and some children are what? Bullies. They are Uchcheda Hetu. For who? The other children who look at them and run away. They are Uchchedya, and the strong children who want their way all the time, or who are bullies, are Uchcheda Hetu. Now, even these little bullies, they have another Uchcheda Hetu. Okay? Maybe children from a bigger class. So in front of their own classmates, they will posture and then scare. But the children from who are 2 years older, they will go like this. They will hide. And same thing we see in the animal kingdom also. A small pocket dog is there which travels in the purse and lives in the purse. Yeah. It has a name. What does it mean? Something. Something. Chihuahua. Very cute, but it's got handbag, and in case of celebrities, it lives in a designer handbag. Okay, yeah. And then handbag is costlier than the dog. And then what happens? So it will be barking, and the celebrity is going shopping along with the dog. Very nice. They're having a great time, and then sometimes they're dressed alike in same color, ribbons, little ribbons here and everything. Very cute, picture perfect. Everybody is taking photos because it's their favorite celebrity and everything. The dog also is having a gala time, barking at everything from the safety of its purse. Then somebody is taking a big dog for a walk. What does this dog do? This dog was very happy and on top of the world, sees that other dog, will bark, but after going inside the purse. Yeah. Then it will bark from inside. So like this, you find that the small fish which are tyrannizing and terrorizing the smaller fish then get eaten up by the bigger fish, who then get eaten up by a bigger fish. Like this, whatever is uchchedaka, the agent of affliction in the Jagat, also becomes afflicted. So therefore, Adi Shankara asks the question, what is the nature of this Brahman that is giving everybody afflictions in the form of karma phala? What is the truth of this Brahman? Anuchedyaha. This one does not come under any other person's, any other Brahman's affliction. This one is not subject to affliction. Oh, then how can I become Brahman? I am subject to affliction. Brahman is not subject to affliction. The whole idea is you are already Brahman. Then where is the affliction? In your head. Okay, that is where we have to get to. This affliction is pratibhasika. The third order of reality, which is a subjective reality in everybody's head. Pratibhasika. It is not even Vyavaharika. It is Pratib. It is not even part of the empirical reality. It's the part of the subjective reality. And when the subjective reality eclipses the objective reality, then one is living only in one's own head, and then that becomes the source of all kinds of projections, dejections, rejections. All these things are there. And then therefore, this one becomes Uchchedya, Bhagavan becomes Uchchedaka, Brahman. And what is the nature of this Brahman? Anuchedya, not in the world. Unlike in the world, this is a Viparita Drishtanta, unlike in the world where each thing is eating up the other thing, and then that which is eating up something is then being eaten up by something else. There is no food chain here. There is no chain of command here, and there is no other Brahman that is going to then be eaten up or do the eating later on. There is no other Brahman there to do this. This we have to absolutely, without a doubt, understand. And so, and what is this Brahman? You. This thing called Brahman is you. This thing called Brahman, which is shaped like Bhagavan because of Upadhi. That Upadhi is name and form, Nama Rupa. This Brahman, which is Anuchedya, not subject to fear, not subject to any kind of affliction, is the truth of this Bhagavan. Anuchedyam Brahma is the truth of Uchcheda Hetu Bhagavan. Tatra asati Uchcheda Hetau Anuchedye na tad darshana bhayam yuktam. So it is not, yuktam means tenable. So it is untenable. What is untenable? It is untenable to say that when there is no uchchedya hetu, Uchcheda hetu, when there is no afflictor, which is in itself is unafflicted. When I understand the spoof of this so-called afflictor and I recognize myself as the unafflicted Brahman, the fear is not tenable at all. That is the idea. That is the power of this knowledge. But then, in the absence of this, what happens? Sarvam cha jagat bhayavat drishyate. So even though this fear is untenable, what is happening? It is seen everywhere. The fear is seen everywhere in the Jagat, even though it has no basis. So we are in a collective, subjective projection. That's what it is. It's because ajnanam is individually felt but then collectively discerned, because the Jagat itself is a cause of fear for most people. We are under a collective delusion, and so therefore, barring a very very few people who are pursuing this knowledge or who understand this teaching, barring these few people, everybody is subject to fear. The Jagat appears to be a frightening place as soon as you wake up. Yeah. Look around, oh my god, have I run out of coffee? That is itself a frightening thought. Okay, yeah, so the Jagat itself is a frightening place if this is not understood. Jagat bhayavad drishyate. Tasmat, therefore, Jagatah bhayadarshanat gamyate nunam tadasti bhayakaranam uchcheda hetu anuchchedyatmakam. So therefore, this Jagataha Bhayadarshanat. So now Jagataha Bhayadarshanat means seeing the Jagat as fearful. What does it tell us? That the Jagat is a fearful place means what? Then Jagat is a fearful place means Jagat is what? Ultimately Brahman. For the person who is studying, Jagat is Brahman. So Brahman is fearful, Jagat is also fearful, and this is the idea that one goes away with without this knowledge, without understanding that I, Atma, is not subject to affliction. But there is a strong identification with the body, mind, sense complex. And so anything that happens to the body is taken personally, and one says, I am suffering. Anything that happens to the mind is taken personally. I am afflicted. Anything that happens to the sense organs is taken personally. And one identifies with all the things that are going on without understanding what we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita. Indriyasya arthe. It is just everything, the sense organs, the sense objects, the mind, buddhi are all aligned in a certain way. Things happen. Things are happening, but I have to be in the place of the sakshi, the place of the witness. If there is no witness, what will be there? Witless. That's what will happen. Very small difference. But a huge difference, small difference in spelling, huge difference in understanding. So, being in the place of the witness is the first step to overcoming this fear and understanding that I am anuchchedyam brahma. Anuchchedyam Brahma aham asmi. The unafflictable, unafflicted Brahman I am. This has to be the nididhyasana done every single day. And so, tasmat, so therefore he says, bhayadarshanat gamyate. From this seeing the fear, it is understood, nunam, indeed, tadasti bhayakaranam. So what is the cause of fear? Uchcheda hetu, this Bhagavan, Brahman, which is the source, seen as the source of all affliction, which is what? Anuchchedyatmakam, itself free of being afraid, free of afflictions. Yataha, because of which Bhagavan, Jagat bibheti iti. Jagat bibheti, the whole Jagat is subject to fear. Bhi means, what is that? Bhi means bhaye, to be afraid. That is the root verb. It's the third conjugation. Interestingly, because third conjugation verbs are duplicated. So, bhi, bibheti. It has two forms because there are many forms of fear. So, therefore, bibhyati and bibheti. Two forms are there. Very interesting, And so the fear duplicates itself in the heart. That's why it's the third conjugation. Yeah, because fear builds upon fear. So you get afraid, and then first you are afraid, bhi, and then second you're afraid of the fear. Because most of the people, what are you anxious about? Then there will be a cause of fear, but they don't want to look at it. That means what? They are afraid of fear. Bhi, that's why. First bhi, the object of fear. Second bhi, the fear of fear itself. So bibheti or bibhyati, both the formations are there. And then, so now, jagat, where are we? Yataha jagat bibheti iti. तद एतस्मिन् अपि अर्थे एषः श्लोकः bhavati. So here is actually the conclusion. Eshaha shlokaha bhavati means we are concluding this topic, and then the segue to another topic is being done, and this concludes our discussion of fear, Brahman as the cause of fear and fearlessness. But as we leave, we will have a small little verse, a shloka, to send us off from this topic. Bhishasmadvatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmadagnischendrascha mrityurdhavati panchama iti. Very interesting. So bhishat, as though out of fear, asmat, from this Brahman, vatah pavate, the wind blows. The wind does not blow on its own. Otherwise, it would want rest. Yeah, can I just stay in one place? Why I have to keep blowing from here to there? Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. What? What kind of a job is this? I'm a free agent. And what am I going to do? I'm going to just take some rest because I have been moving since the dawn of this Jagat. The 5 elements were first created. Along with the 5 elements, what is one of the 5 elements? Wind. So, the wind could say, I'm going to take rest and just remain in one place. And if you're having a conversation with the wind, you will say, pray tell, where might that be, your place of rest? And the wind responds, why? In your lungs, of course, a nice, warm, moist place for me to rest. I will go in when you breathe in. Don't want to come out. What have you achieved anyway? You have lived so long. What have you achieved other than complaints? Nothing. What have you collected other than resentment and grudges? That's all you have collected. That's all you have to show for. So I'm just going to take rest permanently. Where? In your lungs. It can't say that. It doesn't say that. It will come out until and unless it doesn't come out. And then we say, so and so, unfortunately, has taken the last breath. And so that means what? That there is some other thing, that is some other agent that is controlling, supervising, monitoring wind. Very interesting. So the first one discussed is wind because it's very easy, It has got a personal relationship to our lungs. So that's why it is both Adi Bhautika in the surroundings and Adhyatmika, because as soon as I breathe in, Adi Bhautika becomes what? Adhyatmika. It becomes centered on me. It becomes my prana. That wind over there becomes now my prana, up close and personal. So Bhishad Asmat Vataf Pavate. And then when there are wildfires on top of mountains, that too is not an accident, it's part of an order. And when there are tornadoes, that too is part of the order. Typhoons, tornadoes, and hurricane. Okay, yeah. So all this is part of a vast order. And even though we say Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Namaste to Vayu, you are the most tangible form of Brahman I can see and relate to. Even though we say that, then the boss of Vayu is there in the form of this Brahman, which transcends all functions, all forms, yet without whose presence no functions, no forms can exist, which sustains everything and transcends everything. So Bhishasmad Vatah Pavate. Bhishat Udeti Suryah. It's as though the day begins. The sun shines and rises in response to this fear. No, but the sun doesn't rise. All right. The earth rotates in response to the fear. Fear means here a certain kind of a response to this particular order. Following this particular order as though out of fear. The fear is upalakshana. It's a metaphorical usage, a figurative usage. The fear is a figure of speech to show this large infallible order that is who? You. Really. It all comes back to oneself. It's really fascinating. So what is the second one? The sun rises, the day begins because of the respect for this particular order which the earth has. The earth says, okay, I'm tired of, I'm getting chakkar. Chakkar means dizzy. I'm feeling dizzy. I think I need to stop rotating. I'm feeling tired. If it stops, then what? All the oceans would engulf us. Finished. So that does not happen. And then Bhishasmad Agnihi cha Indraha cha. Fire also has a certain behavior. In the gas stove, it is so cute and small and blue, and it cooks your food and very nice. And sometimes it's invisible, like in the induction stove. You don't see it at all. Still, the food gets cooked. And sometimes it's a raging conflagration. Eats up the whole city with all these wildfires. And even though you say wildfire, it's not wild. There is an order behind it, because of which it's going to a certain place, because of which only certain areas are devastated. Last year in Los Angeles, we had so much. And then in the news, we saw repeatedly one house. It was as though it was fireproof, something, it's just little singe on both the sides. In front, the house burned down. The neighboring house on the right burned down completely. It was just the foundation. On the left also completely. Behind completely. Everything burned down. But this home is still standing. No problem at all. And of course, it is shared and 100,000 times on the social media, and it goes viral. Why? Because even the one who perhaps thinks that the whole universe is just, we are all a random bunch of molecules formed in a certain way and everything, randomness is the cause of the universe, even they are moved because they see something they cannot explain. But Veda explains, Upanishad explains as a vast order which is very deliberate and which is infallible. As this infallible order, Bhishasmada, Agnihi and Indra. Our dear Indra, Indra also is a part of the order. And we see that Indra violates this order many, many times. In all the Puranic stories and all, he's a bad boy many times. Because somebody does tapas, not Spanish snacks, okay? Tapas means religious austerities. Somebody is standing on one leg, somebody is praying, somebody is doing japa, and then what does Indra do? Or somebody is doing yajna. He gets a little insecure of his seat. He says, somebody is going to replace me, I better take care of this. So Vishwamitra is doing tapas. And then Indra says, he could be a contender. Hey Menaka, are you free right now? Who is Menaka? Nymph, heavenly nymph, very, very beautiful. She's a denizen of heaven, so she has to listen to Indra. Yes, it's not a democracy, okay? Yeah, it's a monarchy. And so it's to listen to Indra, the king of heaven. Yes, Maharaj, what should I do? There's some rishi doing tapas there. Go dance in front of him. Sure. And then what? Tapo bhanga takes place. The tapas is broken. And then Indra feels safe. And then he did that, he did something to Trishanku too, another sage who had done so much punya, he was going to go straight to heaven. And Indra saw through his mind's eye Trishanku and said, bad news, because he's so much more advanced than me, I can't have him staying here. There's only room for me, not him. So as he was, this is all story, okay? As he was ascending to heaven, Indra blew. And so the force he sent with the magic him down. And then Trishanku's own karma and the sages rooting for him down below on earth tried to again send him to heaven, and Indra and then what happened now to poor Trishanku? He is in a heaven of his own. He is somewhere hanging in the middle, but very happy because he's an enlightened sage. He's not lonely, he's not upset. Okay, yeah. He's fine, all right. How do you know he's fine? You just make things up. I do make things up, but not this time. Okay, yeah. Because he composed a shloka that is there. Aham vrikshasya reriva kirtif prishtang gireriva. And then it ends, iti trishankor vedanu. So it is a statement of his contentment and satisfaction with himself. Very beautiful. So he's not suffering. Okay, he's fine. And then so Indra did lot of mischief like this. So 95 yajnas he will keep quiet because somebody has to do 100 yajnas perfectly in order to replace him. So the 96th yajna he starts doing all kinds of things. So now he has attracted lot of papa, correct? Yeah. Indra has attracted lot of papa, the story goes, and so he attracted a lot of curses, and the curses had to do with the papa had to do with punishing him instantly for hypervigilance, because he was always like hypervigilant about his seat, and so he got 1,000 eyes all over his body. back, front. How inconvenient, you can't even wear a shirt because there are thousands of eyes everywhere. And imagine taking a shower, you have to think about which eyes have to be closed because otherwise water will get and it will be irritating all the time. And then when you're sad, do you cry out of all 1,000 eyes? 1,000 pairs, okay? Yeah, my mistake. 2,000 eyes, or do you cry out of just the main? Or is there such a thing as the main eye, or is all the eyes are equal? Imagine eyes in your head everywhere. Can't comb hair, can't do anything, always getting irritated. And supposing you have dry eye, then imagine how much drops you have to buy. Think about it. Yeah. And supposing you can't see well, are you going to get all of them glasses? It's beyond anybody's budget. So this is, Indra's punishment. So this is, that means what? He is not a free agent. He acts like a free agent. He has ahankara in the stories, but he too gets the result of karma. He too is what? Uchchedya, because he doesn't know the truth of himself. Here, Indra and Agni like this are all responding to a large intelligence. We can't even call it order because the order is non-separate from intelligence. That intelligence rests in a conscious being, and that conscious being is you. That consciousness is you, nothing else. This is what we have to understand. This is exactly where the understanding needs to go. And then finally we have our friend Yama. So we have discussed 4. What are they? Vayu and Agni, Indra, no, Vayu, Sun, Vayu, Sun, Agni, Indra, 5th one. Mrityuhu Dhavati Panchamaha. Panchamaha means the 5th fellow in the order. Dhavati here we have to translate as Langhayati, jumps, leaps. Because everyone jumps at the sight of Mrityu, death. Mrityu leaps at the sight of this order. Mrityu also is not a free agent. Otherwise, he would make his job very easy for him. So let's say he goes to Europe somewhere, he goes to Sweden and then says, okay, I have to take somebody from one particular old age home, grandpa, age 99. Okay. Then let's look around and see who is next. Yeah. Because why come all the way? Yeah. Why come all the way? Problem. Again I have to come. So let's just sort of take all the 99 years old from everywhere, immediately, all at once. It is not Mrityu to decide. It is not for him to decide. It is not for Lord Yama to decide. Lord Yama also is Bhagavan in the form of a function and a form. So the one who decides the function is this vast, limitless knowledge, Sarvagyam Brahma, which is a conscious being, which is non-separate from this consciousness, and that is what one has to know as what? Oneself. Mrityu Dhavati, why does it say it jumps? Because it doesn't go 100, 99, 98, 97. That's not how it goes. 100, 2. Oh my God, what happened? And then 50, 49, 64. Again 97. Like this it goes all over the place. It jumps from jiva to jiva. So this jiva hijacking Mrityu is also part of the order, is also responding to this intelligent, infallible manifestation called the Jagat. Very, very beautiful. So Bhisho Deti Surya. Let us see the Bhashya there. Bhisha Bhayena Asmad Vatah Pavate. Bhisha Udeti Surya. So because of this, he's just repeating the whole thing. Is not much there. Then he says, don't think of Agni, Vayu, Indra, etc. as servants. They are not servants. Vatadayaha hi maharhaha swayam ishvaraha santaha. They are non-separate from Ishvara. Pujyatmanaha. They are all worshipful. That's why in Kalahasti, a place in India, we have Vayu Linga. The air is worshipped as Shiva. In Chidambaram, we have space as Linga. Space is worshipped. How do you worship space? They have found an ingenious method. They string a garland in a nylon thread which is near invisible, and then if you could garland space, that's what it would look like. Please pray here. Very, very sophisticated understanding. You're not praying to space. You're praying to Ishvara in the form of space. In the form of, there is Agnir Jyotirlinga. The 12 areas are there which worship Shiva as Jyotihi, fire, Vayu. All these things are there in the tradition. We are not worshipping space. Nobody is that spaced out to worship space. What are we worshipping? We are worshipping that intelligence that is there behind this space, that all knowledge, limitless consciousness, that is what we are looking at and relating to. and then mrityurdhava. So therefore, vatadayaha maha-arhaha literally means the most deserving of what? Praise, of puja. Maharhaha, Pujyatmanaha, Swayam Ishvaraha, they are all Pujyatma. Pujyatma means worshipful, they are all worshipful. They are in fact non-separate from Ishvara. Then Pavanadi Karyeshu, Ayasa Bahuleshu, Niyataha Pravartante. So what do they do? In respect of the job of moving around, etc., uncomplainingly they go about. They go about doing this, they keep the flow going, they do not disrupt the order. In fact, nothing other than human beings disrupt the order. No animal disrupts the order, no tree, no plant disturbs the order. Only us. Okay? Yeah, and look at where that has landed us. In a toxic soup, that's all, called this universe. So then, ayasa bahuleshu means putting great effort, they go from place to place and do what they need to do. Tad yuktam prashastari sati anyasmin niyamena tesham pravartanam, their engagement in all these activities, tesham pravartanam, yuktam means it is tenable to say what? Prashastari sati anyasmin niyamena. So their movement, it is proper to say, it is tenable to say prashastra means a ruler. In the presence of a ruler who is other than them means what? Not part of the order, that which is that from whom the order is not separate, but the one who transcends the order also. How to explain that? Fortunately, we have words for this because theology has been around a long time. So we say immanent presence of God in the form of everything in the universe. Everything is sacred, everything is immanent. So flower is Bhagavan. But Bhagavan cannot just be the flower because Bhagavan is goat also. The one that eats the flower is also Bhagavan. And so therefore what do we have to do? We have to say that the Bhagavan that we are looking at transcends the order. The order cannot exist without Bhagavan. The order is non-separate from Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not just the order, transcends the order. So that's the transcendental way of looking at Bhagavan. And there is, so therefore, even in other theologies, we have these words immanence and transcendence. Immanence means the Bhagavan that is available in the form of Jagat. Transcendence means that which is not affected by the Jagat. So like if we say Bhagavan is my mind, it would not be wrong. Yes, my mind is non-separate from Bhagavan, and then so my mind, your mind, every jiva's mind is Bhagavan. Then if Bhagavan is just the mind, then what will happen? Every stupid thought in every mind Bhagavan will have, and every emotion Bhagavan will become the Mahasamsari. So therefore, while all minds are non-separate from Bhagavan, mind you, Bhagavan is not any one mind or even a collection of minds. That's what children ask this all the time. My head is Bhagavan, yes. Your head is Bhagavan, all heads are Bhagavan. Then how come Bhagavan doesn't have a big headache? This is why. This is exactly why, and that is what is being pointed out here, that this is important to say. This is yuktam. Prashastra means the ruler. So the one who is unruled ruler. It would have been enough to say Shastra, but the one who is unruled ruler, it is to say that when this ruler is there, anyasmin niyamena tesham pravartanam. So they all move as though in response to this order, as though in response to this ruler, this overlord or this rulership. Tasmad asti bhaya karanam tesham prashastru brahma yatah te bhrityaha iva rajnyah asmad brahmanah bhayena pravartante taccha bhayakaranam anandam brahma. Interesting segue here. Yeah. So, Taccha Bhayakaranam Anandam Brahma. So, what is saying that just like on earth, in the Jagat, in the universe, what do we find? That there is a manager. If we look at the assembly line, factory. So, factory, everybody is doing the work, and the manager, what is that called? Floor supervisor, correct? That's what it's called. So the floor supervisor, he or she is just going around, and then they get a call, personal call, so they go outside to take it. What happens here? Everybody automatically slackens. This fellow is gone. Let me stretch. Oh, what did I bring for lunch? Let me look. Let me have a bite, even though it's not lunchtime. Let me ease up. Then he or she, the supervisor, finishes their phone call and comes in, and then immediately they start doing this. So it is. So we are seeing this example in the world, and therefore Adi Shankara says that because we are familiar with this example, the same example is given with regard to Vayu, Indra, Agni, etc. This is a good segue to stop, because one last thing I will say and then we'll stop. Brahma yataha bhrityaha iva rajnyah, we saw that, like the servants in the presence of a king, brahmanah bhayena pravartante, as though out of fear they keep moving. Tat cha bhayakaranam anandam brahma. Taccha bhayakaranam. And so therefore, even though this Brahman is Ananda. Ananda means what? Totally free of fear. Opposite of fear is Ananda. Still it is seen as bhayakaranam. Why? Pratibhasika, my own projection. Projection is due to ajnanam. Ajnanam and projection, the two causes of samsara. This is what it is. And so, even though there is moments, more than moments, even though there is lot of ananda, joy in my life, it is not appreciated. I don't know how to appreciate the joy in my life, because I'm always looking, that person seems happier. This person has a bigger house, that person has a bigger car, that person has a nicer family, more obedient children. So many things one can keep on projecting, and then one is not able to enjoy the ananda because of this comparison. So to take this comparison out, Upanishad says, you don't compare. I will present a comparative analysis of ananda, how much ananda who has, from the human being all the way to various intricate celestials who do all this work, etc., who are all Ishvara with certain form and functions. And then you will see, you can choose which tier you want to be on. Or you can simply study Vedanta and enjoy all those full range of anandas, from all the way from Prajapati, Brihaspati, Hiranyagarbha to the human ananda. That we will see next time. When is next time?
Tomorrow. Is there a class tomorrow?
Janani will take.
Huh?
He will take tomorrow. Yeah, he will take class tomorrow.
Which class?
Any class, whatever you want. Okay. Yeah. So this we'll see some other time. Yeah. All right. Now we'll take a small break and then study what? Bhagavad Gita. All right. Because after I come back, there's no time when to have. Yeah.
No time.
No time at all. So I come back 21st night. Then 22nd, 23rd, 24th, gone. All right. 25th is a possibility. Yeah, is a possibility, but let us see if we are alive till then. So we'll inform. Let us see in what shape we are. Yes.
Where do all these stories about the gods come from?
Puranas.
And who wrote them?
Vyasa. Yeah. Vyasa wrote all 18 Puranas are there.
I have a question too. We're talking about an order, and we attribute that to Brahman. My understanding of Brahman is that it's pure existence or Sat.
Sat, yes. Sat,
yes.
Chit also.
Yes.
Don't forget Chit.
Chit, sure.
Yes.
But it's not a doer and it's substanceless.
Exactly.
So,
it is not a doer, it is substanceless. That's why Maya Shakti, the as though power, is brought in to explain that.
So
Okay?
the order on its own, it's actually a combination of Brahman
Yes,
and Maya.
that's why we say Bhagavan. Ishvara is Brahman plus Maya. That's what we say. Okay? Alright, so 10-minute break.